From a rebellious colony to a global superpower. How did America do it? In the next 40 seconds, let us uncover the lightning-fast story of how the USA was born and became one of the most powerful nations on Earth. The story begins not with a single nation, but with a patchwork of colonies stretched along the Atlantic coast, each with its own identity, but all under the rule of the British Empire. For over a century, these colonists carved out a life in a new world, developing their own economies, societies, and a fierce sense of independence. But this long-distance relationship with Great Britain was becoming strained. The British government, burdened by debt from costly wars like the French and Indian War, saw the colonies as a source of revenue. They imposed a series of taxes: the Stamp Act, the Townshend Acts, the Tea Act, all without giving the colonists a voice in the parliament that passed them. This cry of no taxation without representation wasn't just a slogan, it was the spark that ignited a revolution. The colonists, from the artisans of Boston to the farmers of Virginia, began to see themselves not as British subjects, but as something new: Americans. The simmering tension boiled over into open conflict. The first shots fired at Lexington and Concord in 1775 marked the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. It was a David versus Goliath struggle. The colonists, a ragtag army of farmers and merchants led by the steadfast General George Washington, faced the mightiest military machine of the age. Despite brutal winters, devastating losses, and internal divisions, the revolutionary spirit endured. Fueled by Thomas Paine's radical pamphlet Common Sense, and formally declared in the timeless words of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, the fight for liberty became a fight for a new nation founded on the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. With crucial help from France, the underdog American forces achieved the impossible, securing victory at Yorktown in 1781 and officially winning their independence with the Treaty of Paris in 1783. With freedom won, the monumental task of building a nation began. The first attempt, the Articles of Confederation, created a weak central government that struggled to manage the young country's affairs. Recognizing the need for a stronger framework, the nation's founders gathered in Philadelphia in 1787. The result was the United States Constitution, a revolutionary document that established a federal system with a clever separation of powers: the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, designed to prevent any one part of the government from becoming too dominant. This stable, yet flexible, foundation proved essential. It allowed for expansion, innovation, and the absorption of millions of immigrants who flocked to America's shores. Drawn by the promise of opportunity and freedom, this unique political experiment laid the groundwork for unprecedented economic and territorial growth. The 19th century was an era of explosive expansion. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the country overnight. The concept of manifest destiny drove settlers westward, pushing the nation's borders to the Pacific Ocean. This relentless expansion was powered by an industrial revolution that transformed the American economy. Canals, railroads, and telegraph lines stitched the vast continent together, creating a massive, unified domestic market. Factories churned out goods, cities swelled, and American ingenuity flourished. However, this period of growth was shadowed by the dark and deeply divisive issue of slavery. The conflict between the industrial, free labor North and the agrarian, slave-holding South eventually erupted into the brutal Civil War. The Union's victory not only preserved the nation, but also, through the abolition of slavery, began the long and arduous journey of redefining the promise of American liberty to include all its citizens. Reunified and entering the 20th century, the United States was poised to step onto the world stage. Its industrial might, vast natural resources, and growing population made it a formidable economic force. The two world wars acted as a catalyst, transforming the nation from an isolationist power into a global leader. While other world powers were devastated by the conflicts, American industry boomed. Its infrastructure remained untouched, and it emerged from World War II as the world's dominant military and economic superpower. This newfound position was solidified during the Cold War. as the US led the Western Bloc against the Soviet Union, driving technological innovation in the space race and the digital revolution. Through a unique combination of revolutionary ideals, a stable constitution, vast resources, industrial innovation, and a pivotal role in global conflicts, the United States forged its path from a handful of colonies to the powerful, complex, and influential nation it is today.